Hey guys, how's everybody doing? Happy Monday. Monday fun day or Monday let's get her done day. I don't know. However you view it, me, it's Monday, half fun day, half let's get her done day. And what we're going to get done today is tips for a strong chest voice. And I'll tell you why it's half fun day, because I'm in Colorado at the moment and it is a snow day. We have had like over 24 inches of snow in the last 24 hours. So there will be some fun had today, but let's get her done first. So what I want to talk about today is tips for a strong chest voice. And the interesting thing is that the number one thing that I find that messes singers up in their chest voice is when they do something and use their support and their resonating space differently in their chest voice than they do in their head voice. A lot of singers, especially if you've trained with me, you learn a very specific way of being able to tap into your lower support and to be able to get into the resonators, meaning high soft palate, to be able to make a great head voice. But then when singers go back down to chest voice, because this is where we speak and because it feels easy, because this is where we speak, you guys tend to forget that you're going to get a much better sound if you employ those same things. So first of all, if you're one of those singers who's like, I don't even know where my chest voice is, put your hand right below your collarbones. And just like you get into a hot tub and it feels really good, say, ah, ah. That's your chest voice. And you can feel the vibration underneath your hand because the sound is bouncing around in your chest cavity. Okay. If you put your hand here and you say, woohoo, that's your head voice. And notice you don't really feel anything under your hand. Woohoo! When you're woohoo, you don't feel anything in your chest. There's no chest resonance when you're doing that up in your head voice. So feeling that speech level chest resonance, if you do, like you get into a hot tub and it feels really good and you say, ah, and you feel all that vibration down here. Now, just because you're feeling the vibration in a different place between head voice and chest voice doesn't mean that we want to change all that beautiful inside shape of your resonance. You don't. And so for those of you we just finished this incredible workshop. By the way, hit me in the chat. Who was at the workshop? How amazing was it? There were so many breakthroughs and so many aha moments. I was so proud of you guys who showed up. So tell me in the chat, who was at the workshop? Okay, so if you're at the workshop, then you know that we want to breathe into the space between our ears to feel a really nice space for your resonance. And for most people, as they descend in pitch, especially down into chest voice, they take their physiology down with the pitch. And when they do that, it gets stuck in your throat and you can't go as low as you otherwise would. And so what that's like is if I went, and I get stuck, right? Because I'm literally closing down. My physiology of my soft palate is literally descending down into my throat as the pitch descends. We don't want that. So the best tip that I can give you for a really strong chest voice is not to let your physiology go in the direction of the pitch. As I descend, I'm still feeling that sensation of widening between my ears. I'm still feeling that sensation of the easy, gentle smile. So when I descend, I'm, ah, that's really low for me. Okay, you guys, like I'm a high soprano. And for me to be that low, let's see, where is that pitch on my piano? That's an E below middle C. So that's almost an octave. That's like a sixth below middle C. And for me to get down there, now granted, it's not where I live. I don't sing there all the time because I'm a really high coloratura soprano, but I can get down to that note by pulling up as I descend. And it's the same thing we do when we ascend. So that feeling of lift, of high soft palate, of ears widening doesn't change just because now we're in chest voice, okay? So the strongest chest voice is created by the same shape and the same support as the strongest head voice. And that's also what's going to make it really easy for you to mix, because now you're not going to be changing your physiology as you change registers. And that's something that I'll talk more about probably in another live, is about mix and about being able to smooth out changing registers. But that being said, when you're in your chest voice, like I have as much feeling of widening between my ears, I have as much feeling of tilt and stretch in my soft palate when I'm down there, than I do when I'm up the octave, or when I'm really up the octave, I almost went to the wrong pitch. But all of that is like, it's the same space. Like, don't change all that. I'm adding more support. I'm continuing to lean, but I'm not letting the descending pitch pull my physiology down with it. And that, even if you're not descending, even if you're starting on the bottom pitch, I'm starting with space between my molars, feeling my molars riding up into my brain, height. That's low for me. Normally I can't even get down there, but if I pull up to go down, then I can. Okay. So this is the tip that I wanted to bring to you guys today. We didn't talk too much about this in the big workshop that we did. And so it was something that I wanted to talk about today live in here. For those of you, I'm curious, those of you watching this, when you struggle with chest voice, what is it that you struggle with if you don't feel like you're very strong in your chest voice? Is it that you feel like the sound is airy? Is it that you feel like maybe it's kind of a brassy nasal tone? Go ahead and type into the chat after you've watched this and I'll respond to you. Or if you're watching live, tell me, what do you experience when you sing in your chest voice that maybe makes it kind of icky for you, that you don't really love? Because a lot of those things, if it's a nasal sound, if it's a brassy sound, if it doesn't, those are things because you don't have the inside space, the soft palate space that we really want, which is why the sound isn't resonating as strongly as you would like, or in as open a way as you would like. If you feel like the sound is airy in your chest voice, that's a breath support issue. And I would encourage you to go dive into all my content on breath support. Or if you did the workshop, go back and watch the replays. They're available till the end of the day today, to strengthen, because airy sound, that's 100% a breath support problem. And it can be fixed really easily by dialing in your support. So if you guys have questions about your chest voice, ask me in the comments. And if this is helpful to you and this was exactly what you needed to hear today, then type into the comments, needed it, so that I know that I got the message across. Okay, I see somebody in the chat asking, balancing the core strength as an alto, going, what are you, type it again, go as an alto going flat? Is that what I think you're meant to say, going flat as an alto? I think that's what you meant. If you're going flat, oh, look, we got some people commenting, needed it. Yes, thank you. If you're flat, that's because of two things. And you're going to have to do some experimentation to see which it is. It's either because you're doing exactly what I said and you're taking your physiology down as you go lower, or in your chest voice, just because you are low, you are just adopting a low physiology, a low soft palate. So in that feeling of breathing into the space between your ears, breathing into that gentle smile. And then when you go to phonate in your chest voice, continuing to pull up. Usually intonation issues are to not enough what we call sail. That's your sail, like an inflated sail, not enough high tilted soft palate. Or it can also be because if you're in chest voice, but you're going up and rising in chest voice, that you're just not supporting that as well. So if you're flat, you're not getting to the center of the pitch because there's not enough support as you rise. So you need to kind of check in. If you're gravelly, that is absolutely a physiology thing. And if you visualize your ears widening away from each other, then you're pulling your physiology away from your larynx. If you're gravelly, it's because you're sitting down on your larynx and there's not enough freedom and space because either root of tongue or high or soft palate, both are pulling down towards your larynx. Now, gravelly can also be certain other things. If you're a smoker, if you are dehydrated, like if you don't drink enough water, if you have a pattern in your speech of vocal fry. So do you know what I mean by vocal fry? It's if I was saying like, oh my God, that's so cool. That's a vocal fry. So check in to see if when you speak low and you speak with a lot of vocal fry. That if that's a habit in your speech, it's going to be a habit in your singing. So those are some things that I would check into, specifically if you're gravelly. Let me see who else has questions. You're classically trained, choirs for decades, cool. I can only go up a few notes above middle C before I have to switch to head voice. Just in recent years, starting to work in actually singing in chest voice for worship and musical theater. Yeah, okay. So I'm a classically trained singer. Like that's my background. I did my undergrad at Oberlin Conservatory. I did my master's in New York City at Manhattan School, worked with a lot of Juilliard coaches, right? So like I know the classical training, and you are taught like, don't use your chest voice. You're going to damage yourself, or that's the wrong sound, so there's a lot of mindset stuff that for classical singers surrounds chest voice. And the way that you sing in your head voice. So if you're classically trained, I'm assuming that you really know how to get up behind your molars and really know how to tilt that soft palate. Like that, okay? Just because you're in your chest voice, don't change that. So start in your head voice and take that sound and that support and use it in your chest voice. All that space and all that support. Don't change it. That's like the best thing that I can tell you. The reason you're probably changing a few notes above middle C is because nobody's probably taught you how to be in chest voice without hiking up your larynx. So what's uncomfortable for most people, not just classical singers, is that when you go into, sorry, I'm having a brain fart, head voice. I'm sorry, when you're used to being in head voice, but then you're in chest voice, and now you're rising in chest voice, like you're saying, above middle C. And by the way, middle C is like not high. You, especially as an alto, you should be able to sing at least to an F or an F sharp in full chest voice. But the problem is two things I think are probably happening. Obviously not having heard you, but this is just from my, 25 years of experience of teaching and singing, is you are probably needing to switch to head voice because you're not supporting your chest voice to the degree that you need to. The higher you go in each register, the more support you need. So if you're going higher in chest voice, you need way more support, way more pelvic floor, way more back body. And what's probably happening also is that as you rise in chest voice, you're probably hiking up your larynx because your support is probably not what it needs to be to support being higher in that register. Right? So if you're at an F natural above middle C in your chest voice, you need way more support for that F natural than you do when you sing that F natural in head voice, because it's high in your chest register, but it's low in your head register. Okay. So you probably are not singing with enough support. And so everything is trying to now push the pitch up, and you're probably hiking your larynx up. And so, and it doesn't feel good. And you know that. And you have enough training to know that you shouldn't do that if it doesn't feel good. And so you automatically flip to head much earlier than you should be. So, these are a lot of things that we work with, like with our singers in the intensive training program. And it can be scary to try to work on it on your own, because you can do damage if you abuse that part of your voice. But you can be taught very effectively how to have a lot of power in your high chest voice. Notice I say high chest voice. I don't like the word belting because that implies violence to me. Belting, whack. I'm going to whack that note. I'm going to belt that note. And that's what a lot of people do. And that's why I don't feel good. Okay. So, yeah, I hope that answered your question. Let me look and see. Yeah. Baritone struggle to hit it and hold an E4 with clarity and ping. Yeah, that's both of the things that, like, that's anchoring your support in a more efficient way, moving your support away from the midline, meaning away from this. If anybody's teaching you support that goes like this, that pushes you up and in, it is not correct. It goes against physiology to do that. Okay. So if you're struggling for the higher notes in your range, I'm sorry, or the lower notes in your range, either way, you guys, either way, if you don't have dialed in support anchoring you that way, dialed in resonance space it's anchoring you that way, you're not going to have the full scope of your range on either end of the spectrum, whether it's high or whether it's low. Yes, dynamics is not just mainly about support, it is only about support. It takes way more support to sing softly, like very softly. Like if you're going to do a subito piano, if you're going to go super pianissimo, that takes way more support than singing loud. Yeah. Okay, let me see. Anybody else in here with questions? Okay, so good, you guys. I love these questions, and I'm really happy that I could come in here and support you around tips for a strong chest voice, especially if you're a classical singer. I know that like I was scared of my chest voice for a long time because unfortunately classical teachers, they don't know how to teach you how to do it, right? The thing that sabotages chest voice is closed space, and if you're trying to rise in your chest voice, a larynx that's rising with it, and it doesn't feel good. And so we get scared, and like I said to her, then we just default to chest voice and then we don't use it. But then you miss out on a whole beautiful aspect part of your sound. Like there's a reason why I can, let me think of like a good chest voice song. Oh, okay. So my daughter, I have a 10-year-old, and she's auditioning for the school musical today. So we've been practicing, and she's very lucky because she has me. But she's singing Defying Gravity. Okay, she's 10. But we've been working on it, okay? But that song is in my head. So if I'm going to sing, I don't know what key it's in. I'm not entirely sure, so I'm going to wing it. But if I had to sing, tell them how that's chest for me. And I'm not even warmed up. I wasn't planning on singing that today. But still, I can do it because I'm grounded and I'm open. Tell them how I'm defying gravity. I don't even know if that's the right key, but I can be in a powerful high chest voice there. And then I can do those same notes in head voice. I tell them how you notice it's the same. I'm doing the same thing. I'm literally in the same shape, and I'm literally using, I mean, if you had your hands on my support, it's exactly the same. It's exact. And all I'm doing is I'm thinking chest or I'm thinking head, but I have to add a crap ton more support to do it in chest than in head. So I don't know. I lost my train of thought. I got on my soapbox. But the point is that I want you guys, whether you're working with us in the intensive program or whether you're, just in here following and getting some really good tools, to be able to not be scared of any aspect of your voice. And for me, once I understood that like I was doing something different in my chest voice that didn't feel good because I was hiking my larynx up. Tell them that's like, it doesn't feel good even now. Like I'm demonstrating it, So to understand and have that sensory acuity, to be able to do, well, I don't do that when I'm in head voice. Why would I do that when I'm in chest voice? Okay, I need more support because I'm higher in that register, right? Those notes in chest voice require much more pelvic floor, much more grounding, much more support than they do in head voice. Okay, but I know that. So now I have some tools, so I don't have to be scared. And neither do you. All right, guys, I will send your congrats to my daughter for Wicked. She doesn't have the part yet. They're actually doing Matilda the musical, but they're not allowed to audition with the songs from the musical. So she decided that she was going to channel her best Idina Menzel. Let's see. Any tips to Miss Lee to go between strong chest to strong head? Yes. And you know what? That's like a whole nother topic. And I was talking about that earlier, probably before you chimed in. I'm going to do another live on that because that's like a whole nother thing. So taking note, making note, and I'm going to do that. Okay, guys, it's been wonderful. Happy Monday. Monday fun day, Monday get her done day. So work on this idea of being in the same open shape you are in your chest voice that you are when you are in your head voice. And the higher you go in chest voice, the more support you need. Work on it. And I will be checking in with you here on next week. I guess next Monday we'll do the same thing. Oh, but also let me tell you something else. I got a little something in the works, and it's something I've been planning and I've been percolating on for a while now. And if you guys are on my email list, and we'll be putting something, probably will we post in the group about it? I don't know. But if you came to the workshop, you will, and you attended any of the trainings, you will definitely get notice about this. But I don't want to tell you what it is yet, but I'm going to be coming live on Thursday this week at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, with a pretty cool big announcement of something totally new that I'm offering to you guys. I've never done before. I'm very excited about it. So mark your calendar to be let's see, am I going to go live? I'm going to go live on Zoom, and I think I will also live broadcast into Facebook. If you're watching on YouTube, just make sure you're on my email list. And like in my main YouTube channel about section, you can find like the information for all of that. Okay, guys, have a wonderful Monday, and I'll see you soon. Bye.